And the comedian Sinbad talks about that and about how certain comedians hate on other comedians. But he's like, he's never been that way because it's like, hey man, it was his time. Like, yeah, you could have 20 years in the game and then somebody come along, some young guy come along and they pick him.
Right.
He said, I'm not going to go out and hate on him and say he's not funny. It's like, hey, he got on and he's going to ride a little wave because why would I hate on him when he's getting what I want to get as well?
Right.
And if he can help me get in there, why would I hate on him? It makes no sense.
Right.
But once again, with Sinbad, he's got 30 years experience, underneath his belt to get there. It was funny, Dr. Dans, and now that I'm 40, I'm telling other kids at 20 what people at 40 was telling me when I was 20.
Right.
It's like, when are the generations going to say, you know what, I need to actually pay attention to what the elders, and I'm not even an elder, is saying, so we can actually get it, internalize it, and then make the next generation be better than the previous one.
It's a difficult proposition. It's been a while back. I was at a comedy show at at Hampton Coliseum, and Jamie Foxx happened. At that time, young comedian. Jamie Foxx didn't have the stardom he has now.
Right.
But Jamie Foxx said something. He said, "Don't hate the player, hate the game."
Right.
Don't hate the player, hate the game. And I think, that's a part of our problems. We hate the player, but not the game. What we need to understand is, wait a minute, what are the rules to the game? See, we'll get mad because we don't know the rules. And so therefore we don't win.
Right.
Learn the game, learn the rules, then you can become successful. See, the people that are successful, usually what they do is they learn how to play the game.
Right.
We get mad because they play the game. Like, for example, I tell people all the time, your job as an employee is to make your supervisor happy. That's why that person hired you. That's the only reason they hired you, to make them happy. Now, we will get the job and we will think that's not what we ought to do.
Right.
Matter of fact, we'll get mad at our managers. I'm doing what I'm supposed to do.
Right.
Well, no, you're not, because I'm not happy with you.
Right.
So you're not doing it. Well, who am I going to promote? I'm going to promote the person that knows how to play the game. See, here's the game. Make your employer happy.
Right.
That's what I did. I figured that out early in my career. That my job was not to sit there and look at my position description and say, this is all I'm going to do.
Right.
My job was not to show up on the, if my hours were 8 to 4:30, my job was not to show up at 8 and leave at 4:30.
Right.
My job was to make my supervisor happy. See, I played the game. Other people was trying to play by their own set of rules. I didn't care what the personnel manual said, because I knew the personnel manual does not promote me.
Right.
The manager does. So I always came to work early, and went straight to my manager's office and said, good morning, how are you doing? Is there anything special you need from me today?
Right.
And then, sometimes it would be, and sometimes it wouldn't be. And when I went home, I would either buzz my manager and say, I just want you to know I'm going to leave. Before I go, is there anything you need? Or I would go to the office and ask them the same question.
Right.
People say, I'm sick of this brown-nosing guy.
Right.
Every time promotion came up, I got promoted. Now, the deal is simple. I knew how to play the game.
Right.
And I was playing by the right set of rules. So that's why I'm saying to anybody, rather than hating on the other person that also knows how to play the game, learn how to play the game, and that way you can get promoted too.
Right.
So you can't win at football playing by baseball rules.
Okay. Okay.
You can't win at basketball playing by hockey rules. You got to learn the rules to the game. If you do that, you will progress. But we get mad at the person who's playing by the rules.
Right. And let's take this on a parallel track. People also get mad at pastors that are successful for playing by the rules.
By the rules, no, most definitely. Absolutely. And let me tell you, I don't, because I understand the rules.
Right.
Now,
right.
And I understand what success means. See, I can be successful in one of two ways. And an old pastor told me this, who's no longer with us. He said, I know how to excite people. He said, if I want to fill the church up, that's what I'll do every Sunday.
Right.
I will excite the people every Sunday and the church will fill up. He said, but that's not my role. My job is to make you live a better life, not to just get you excited. Okay, now, so there are two set of rules. Do I want to fill a church up? Or do I want to change people's lives? Now, some pastors are savvy enough to do both.
Right.
Right? And then some, if you listen to their messages, they can have a 3,000 member average congregation. But what you hear is mostly about how you can be more prosperous financially.
Right.
Not how you can connect more with the Creator.
Right.
Right? Okay, but they figured out what? If I want to have a big congregation, these are the rules I'm going to play by.
Right.
Now, I ain't mad at them, because if that's what I want, that's what I need to do. But I have made another decision, and my decision is, no, that's not my rules. I'm going to go by the Bible. I'm going strictly by the Bible.
Right.
And I believe that going by the Bible, our church has obtained success. And we're not the largest church by no means. However, we have a great impact on the community that we serve. And that's what's key to me, that we connect with that community. You know, we feed the hungry. You know, we have programs for the children before and after school. We have summer camp for the kids where we have a lot of things going on with them. We have STEM programs, for the kids. We give out over 1,200 book bags during the, full of school supplies in the fall. And not because we have a lot of money,
right,
but because that's what I read my role as. Now, most of the people that come to our events are not members of the church.
Right.
But that doesn't bother me. That's just the way life is. But so I'm just saying, but I'm not mad. I'm not mad at those other pastors that's got 1,500, 2,000, people in their church. And I'm not thinking to themselves, wait a minute, this guy's only 35 years old. Never went to seminary.
Right.
I got my PhD, I got my doctor's degree, and I can't get but 200 folk to come to church. I'm not mad at this guy for doing that, because I know what? Hey, I'm not going to hate the player.
Right.
And if I want to have that, I better just learn how to play the game.
Right. So let's get back to the game. And you make a very good point of being a good employee, right? And I own a business, and I tell my staff, I said my business has a license, and then that license is in my name. I provide a service, and I obviously cannot do all the services, so I employ you to work for me,
right,
to provide the service.
Right.
So, but when you do something wrong, it's actually my responsibility. So to get people to understand, it's like, yeah, you are here to help me.
Right.
And what was funny in the management meetings, because when we had the management meetings, I would ask you, I said, is there anything you need me to do to help you? Because I understood what my role is. Like, I'm here to help you in any way you need done. Sure. Just let me know. So, but why do people not get it? I don't understand that, how a person can be at home broke, frustrated at life, and have all these solutions around. You got the Bible, and outside of the Bible, you got countless motivational books out there, speakers, everybody saying the same thing, maybe in a different way. Right. Why is it not sinking in? And even with God's grace nudging them, why is it not sinking in? Say, hey, you know what? I just need to do this. And it's such a simple solution.
It is always simple. Let me use this analogy, if you will. Most people, let's say if you buy something from the store, okay. Well, let me back up for a second. Let me use something that happened to me yesterday. Yesterday we had a cookout at my house, and my wife says to one of my nephews, "Can you put the volleyball net up?" Okay. So he gets the box, and he gets this stuff, and he takes it out of the box, and he tries to put the volleyball net up. Now, you can't play volleyball on that net because it is leaning to one side, and if the ball hit the net's going to fall.
Right.
And it wasn't because it wasn't anchored properly. Now, what I find is that many people, the reason for that is he tried to put the net up by looking at the material rather than reading the instruction.
Right.
Most people treat life that way. They think that that they can live a productive life without reading the instructions for life. They just want to look at somebody else's life and assume that looking at your life, I can have what you have. That ain't true because you don't know what I did to get what I have.
Right.
Okay. People don't like reading instructions. So their volleyball nets are leaning and about to fall. Okay.
Right.
And I think that's it. That no one wants to take the time to figure out or to understand what are the rules for the game that I'm trying to play. What are the rules? They don't. They assume they know the rules, or they look at other people and say, okay, that's the rules. No, because the person will never necessarily reveal to you without you asking them what all the rules are. And the same thing applies in marriage. It really is in any relationship, you know, and there are people that I can tell you that hate a happy marriage. They are so jealous if you have a happy marriage that they will do whatever they can do to break your marriage up.
Yeah.
Because they are miserable in their own relationships. Now, in their minds, they don't think that's what they're doing.
Right.
But that's what they are really doing. Okay. When they can have a happy marriage just like you having a happy marriage, all they got to do is say, you know what? The person I'm married to is my supervisor. So let me make them happy.
Yeah.
But that's not what they do.
Right.
Right. Their decision is, you can't tell me what to do, which is the same thing an employee would tell an employer. Wait a minute. I'm doing what's in the position description.
Right.
Why I got to do all this other stuff?
Right.
Because that's what I hired you for.
Right. And it was crazy. And it makes perfect sense in a marriage that if you went into the marriage on each side as an employee trying to make the other person happy, you are not going to have a bad marriage for sure. But the number of the law of averages was going to make sure, because if you keep trying, you're going to eventually do some things the right way, and then you're going to learn, oh, this is how this person likes to be treated.
Right. But because we don't want to study the rules of the game, and I'm telling you, and I hope that women don't get mad at me for saying this, but women are extremely jealous of their girlfriends that have good marriages. And they will say things, they will do things, they will point out things to help destroy the trust. You know, and I'll give you an example. Let's say, for the sake of argument, like we go to church, right? Now, you can have a great marriage, right? And you can be sitting down and the person beside you who's not married, you know, female, could just speak to you. Hey, how you doing today? Well, the next thing you're going to do is, I'm doing fine. You're going to talk back to them. I'm doing great.
Right.
Nothing's going on. I'm doing great. Now, a friend of your wife will see that and tell your wife, hey, you better watch him.
Right.
You better watch him because they're trying to get him. Now, how do that person know somebody's trying to get you?
Right.
They don't know. It is because of their own misery that they, project that on other folk.
Right.
See, because here's what that woman knows. If they put doubt into that other woman's head, it doesn't make her feel good.
Right.
So why put the doubt in her head? Why not let her be happy with her husband?
Right.
It's almost like they don't want you to be happy with your husband. And so just because you're not happy with your husband, you don't want, to be happy with your husband. And in their mind, like you said, how do you know you're hating? Because why are you doing it in the first place?
Right.
How are you helping the situation? No, they had a perfectly fine marriage till you open your mouth.
Right.
And that's that hater thing. And it makes no sense, because if you cause some mess in my marriage, it doesn't make your marriage better.
Right. So now, once we've recognized that we are a hater, right?
Mm-hmm.
What can we do to turn it around?
Well, I think it's the simple thing that your mama taught you when you was a little kid. Here's what they would say: if you don't have something good to say,
Don't say nothing.
don't say nothing at all. you know, it's just that straightforward. You don't say nothing at all. If I'm not asking you for the information, why are you telling me?
Yeah.
You know, if what you're telling me won't really help me, why are you telling me? See, you know, let's use that same situation, right? Let's say I really did think the woman beside you was trying to date you. There are two ways I can handle it. I can make you think your husband is in the wrong, so now you're mad at him.
Mm-hmm.
I can make you think the other woman is in the wrong, so now you're mad at her. Or I can just try to convince you to come to church and sit beside your husband.
Right. Which is Big Mama dancing with the guy.
Right. See, that's the way to do it. Not to try to make a villain out of somebody.
Right.
That's that hateration coming out. But why don't I just talk to your spouse and say, hey, listen, you know what? Church was great today. You missed a great deal. I saw your husband there and everybody was having a good time. I'm going to tell you, I know it would make him feel so much better if his wife was there sitting beside him, praising the Lord together. You know, if I give her some positive to get her to come and sit beside you, then that'll take care of the whole situation. Right. And nobody was the villain and everybody worked out great. But as we said earlier, we like the chaos because we like that hateration going. We say we don't, but we do.
No, we do. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And, you know, I remember I was following this person on Instagram, and I find myself every post when I'm just complaining, like, why is he doing this? Why is he doing that? You don't listen to nobody. I said, you know what? But I'm volunteering for this because he didn't ask me to follow him on the thing. So I said, you know what? Let me unfollow.
Right.
And next thing you know, it was peaceful going through. It's like people actually do this. They will follow someone that they generally don't like what they're doing or how they're doing it, but unless you're going to go talk to them and say something and help them do it the right way, then why are you continually to follow them?
And I'll take it a step further. If they're not negatively impacting you,
right?
Why is it even an issue? And if you don't know they're negatively impacting someone, let's say I know that they're negatively impacting someone else that I care about. Rather than me hating on them, why don't I just try to help the person that they're negatively impacting? Because just because I think you're wrong, don't mean you're wrong.
Right, that's correct.
You know, and even if you are wrong, the question is, do you have a right to be wrong?
Yes, you do.
Right. So what made me think I'm the wrong police? That I'm supposed to correct everybody and say, hey, you can't say this and you can't say that. No. See, that's what I'm saying. That's when this criticism become haterism. That's when it becomes haterism. Right. When I'm doing something that has no impact on me, but yet I feel compelled to jump in the middle of it anyway. Right. No, step back. Go to the person that you care about that's being impacted negatively and try to help them understand, you know, not in a negative way, but try to help them understand what's the better way to do something. And then let them use their own better judgment, you know, and that way I'm not downing someone. You know, it's kind of like, you know, when becoming a Muslim was an in thing in the 70s. I remember in the 70s when being a Muslim was in, not because of religion, but because of Black power.
Right.
You know, so therefore, if we just loved the way they were, the way they carried themselves, and, you know, it was like that. I mean, that's black right there. Yeah.
Right.
You know, and so I grew up in a Christian household, and the one of the local mosque leaders came. Even we had a cultural day at school, and one of the mosque leaders came to school and was talking to us. And I decided, you know what, I'm gonna be a Muslim. I'm gonna be a Muslim. Right on.
Right.
And I go home, and my father, whom I think had very little education, was an extremely wise man, in my opinion. He never put the Muslims down. Never. He said nothing negative about the Muslim faith. All he did was remind me of what the Christian faith had done for him. That's all he did.
Yeah.
And then he just said, it's always your decision.
Right.
But I'm just telling you, if it brought you this far, ask yourself, why do you really want to become a Muslim?
Right.
You know, and when it dawned on me, I really don't need to be a Muslim, but I'm gonna just change the way I dress so I look like I'm a Muslim. Yeah.
Right.
I'm gonna eat a bean pie once in a while.
Right. And then the other crazy thing is that you don't, the things that the people are changing to be Muslim.
Mm-hmm. I didn't want to do anyway.
Right. You can still do it as a Christian. So it's like, why you flipping to the?
But the thing is, I didn't want to be a true Muslim anyway. I didn't want to give up some stuff, you know what I mean? So, but you're right, you know. So, but he didn't put them down. That's the thing I'm saying. You know, he did not hate on being a Muslim.
Right.
He just reminded me of the positive things about being a Christian, and so, and he could have hated on them, but he didn't. And that's kind of taught me some things, is that, you know, if I want to correct somebody, I don't have to hate on what they're dealing with. I can just remind them of the positive things of where they are. Because the person who I'm hating on isn't necessarily wrong.
Right.
It's just not the way I see it.
Yeah. Yeah. I've been talking to people here recently about that, about the positive things. Like, you can get wrapped up in always talking about somebody in a negative way, or things that they did that was negative. But it's like, what did they do that was positive? If they're still your friend, apparently they're doing something that's positive.
Absolutely.
So why you not coming to me to tell me about what happened to them? Like, how often do we hear about, you know, Jane down the street got a promotion and she's doing real well, or they put a new pool in the backyard? If you normally what you hear, you know, they had the nerve to put a new pool in the backyard.
No, they can't afford it.
And they can't afford it. And it don't make the property value go up in your house anyway. So why would you even put a pool back there?
Right. And they owe me $15 now.
Right.
And they haven't even paid me back yet.
Right. Versus just saying, hey, they've been blessed with a new pool, she got a promotion. We don't ever go and spread like positive things about people.
Lifting people up. You're right. I couldn't have said it better myself. And to me, it boils down to jealousy. You know, and that's why, again, I use those 3 instances from the Bible, is that, you know, and here's what, you know, when it was, especially if you look at the first instance of Cain and Abel, and here's what our Heavenly Father said to Cain. He said, if you do well, will not you be accepted? But if you do bad, sin lieth at the door. So he was basically saying that haterism is a sin. You know, that if you did something that pleased me, wouldn't I have lifted you up too? And if you didn't please me, why are you mad at your brother because he did?
Right.
Your brother isn't the one that is displeased with you. I am.
Right.
So he said, so if you do start hating, what you have done is you have put yourself in a position to be a sinner. Because his point being is that I will not experience, I cannot become a hater without sinning. Because what that will mean is my actions from that point on will end up, say sin lieth at the door, meaning that my actions at that point will lead me to sin. Like you said earlier, I will lie on you now. You know, so lying lieth at the door, because after a while I'm going to tell a lie to discredit you. Right. You know, or I am going to talk about you in a negative way. You know, I am going to do something to actually harm you in a certain way, because I am trying to bring you down. And so it's that jealousy of the acceptance issue when we misplace it. It is that jealousy that we think someone is rising above us, as if they don't have a right to rise above us, as if somehow we should always be the first and foremost and the best. And that's why you're saying we don't congratulate. Right. Because we don't congratulate people who get promotions, you know, above us. You know, we try to figure out what they did to get it. Right. You know, rather than just, I'm so glad you got a promotion. See, I'm happy for people to get stuff done. You know, let me flip the switch for a minute. There's another story in the Bible, and I got to bring it back to the Bible because that's my source of inspiration and whatnot. There's another instance in the Bible where there's this woman whose daughter is sick, and she seeks help from Jesus. Okay, And in seeking help from Jesus, Jesus questions her and said, "Why should I help you? Why should I help you when there are others that I'm closer to that I should help?" And then the woman says, so he uses a term and calls her a dog. Basically, he says, because we consider you all to be like dogs. And she said, "True, Lord, I am a dog. But even the dog eats the scraps that fall from the master's table." So she says, "Yeah,
Right.
okay, go ahead and take care of those folk, but then drop me some crumbs on the floor like you would do a dog." Okay, she is a prime example of how to deal with a hater.
Right.
Right? Because she said nothing negative. She said, "Everything you said about me is right, but I still need you.
Right.
I still need you. I still need your help. So help me anyway." And Jesus said, "I've never found anybody with this kind of faith." And of course, he responded to her and he healed her. And the point I'm getting is this, is that she was not saying, "Well, the people you are helping, I'm jealous of them because of their success." No, she was acknowledging, yes, they are higher up in the structure than I am. Yeah,
Right.
they are better than I am.
Right.
But okay, I'm still a human being. I still need help. And I'm saying the same thing. Your house is bigger than my house. Okay, it just is.
Right.
And I'm older than you. I'm just as proud of you as I can be. I'm just so happy that you have what you have.
Right.
I'm not thinking, well, I don't know why he got this, he got that. No. Matter of fact, I'm hoping you get a house double this size. I'm going to be
Right.
more proud of,
Right.
because I want to see you succeed. Because I know, guess what? The more you get, I'm going to get some of the crumbs that fall from the table.
Right.
You're going to throw a cookout.
Right. That's right. That's right.
You're going to celebrate. And
Right.
Mike, come on over and get one of these steaks. To me, that's how we should do people. Because the more I celebrate your success, the more I will benefit from your success.
Right.
So don't hate on your success. Be proud of your success. And even if you give me nothing, so, it's not like you owe me anything.
Right.
But I still should be proud of your success, because it takes nothing away from my success to be upset with your success. But there's a likelihood that if I'm proud of your success, I benefit, because you're going to like the idea of me always picking you up.
Right. And then what's funny is the first person you're going to think about when you get on is the person who was there lifting you up.
That's right.
And that's why I tell people, look, go out and go conquer your dreams. I try to get people to do it, because what if somebody is Elon Musk or the next Steve Jobs, and you and they've heard all these negative things from the people and their family and their friends, and I come along and encourage them, and then 10 years down the road they mention my name at a press conference. Please find CB Baker and tell him to meet me at such and such. I'll be right there.
Right. That's right.
Or
Or they're gonna refer somebody to you,
right?
Because somebody's gonna interview them and say, "Well, what made you think you could do it?"
Right.
And they're gonna say, "Well, you know what? I was talking to CB Baker, and that turned my life around."
Right.
You know what everybody else gonna do then? They're gonna call CB up.
Right. What's interesting, and this is no Russian secret. I'm a Mason. I'm a second degree Mason. I had a phone call from a guy that is being elevated to 33rd degree Mason, which is the highest level you can go. Now, the interesting thing is, when he didn't call me, I heard about it. And I immediately dropped what I was doing and called him on the phone. I hadn't talked to him in months. And called him on the phone to congratulate him on what was happening.
Right.
Those type things is what people need to do. Like if you hear, from the little birds chirping, something positive, pick up the phone. Call. Don't text them.
Right.
Call them so they can hear your voice and hear how proud you are of them, of doing something that's great.
Right.
We're in graduation season. It's like we see all these kids graduate from high school, and then some of them go on to college, and we may show up to the graduation of college. But it seems like after that, Pastor, that's it.
Right. Yeah.
It's like, okay, you grown now, so we ain't worried about you. We ain't congratulating you on nothing. You know, you may have a housewarming gift. We may show up to your wedding, and I'm saying may, because you know how things go.
Right.
So we just got to get back to that. Love grows here, like loving people and being proud of them, and then showing it.
Absolutely. I just am a firm believer. It doesn't take a whole lot to praise people. It just doesn't take a lot to praise people. And so for me, my basic thought process is I'm never going to down you for your success. Never. Let me tell you, as much as I am uncomfortable with Donald Trump as president, I'm not going to hate on him for his success, because I can appreciate that, anybody can be the president.
Right.
And he's the president. So I don't like his policies. There are a lot of things I don't like about him, but I'm not going to hate on him because of his success because, hey, it worked. It worked. He is the president. I wasn't all that crazy about George Bush II, and there are people that said things like, well, he's not smart at all. Like there are people that say Donald Trump is smart. And I say to them, oh, no, he is smart. He may not be what you want him to be, but he's smart enough to become the president. And that makes him smarter than all of us because we're not the president.
Right.
That made him smarter than Hillary Clinton because she didn't become president. It made him smarter than John McCain. It made him smarter than all the people that didn't, become president. So to say, even if he was only smart enough to surround himself with smart people.
There you go.
He was smart enough to do that. So, I can't get mad and say, well, he's the dumbest president we ever had. No, he's not the dumbest president we ever had. He may be unorthodox. I may not understand his decisions, but that don't make him dumb.
Right.
And that don't make him stupid. All that means is I don't understand him. And so to me, I guess my point is that, because hating wouldn't help.
No.
Hating on him is not going to help the situation at all.
Actually, for his situation, which is kind of crazy, the hating is what's actually propelling him.
It propels him, absolutely. And so to me, the thing to do, and I think to any situation I'm in, to me, it makes no sense for me to hate on you because I don't understand you or those kind of things. My thing should be that I'm going to congratulate success because you are successful. With my friends, my family members, I'm not mad at you for being successful. Even if in my heart of hearts, I think you didn't deserve the success. Because there are some times when people are successful for doing what I think is the wrong thing. Like, for example, if you use some dependents that are not yours, and you get some extra money from the IRS.
Right.
You did the wrong thing, but you were successful in getting that big return back. I ain't mad at you.
Right.
Now I'm happy for you. I will remind you that, you might get caught and get in trouble.
Right.
But I'm not mad, and I'm not going to say, I'm not, oh, you always just cheat. That's why you had a down payment for your car, because you always lying on this and lying on that. No, I'm not going to go through that with you because, hey,
Or was they just playing a game?
They knew how to play the game. Now I'm just afraid to play the game.
Right.
And if I'm afraid to play it, that's life. That is what it is. And of course, I'm won't take it to the extreme, but I'm just saying is that I'm not mad at you, and I think that all of us at some times have been guilty of hating. And I think all of us need to sit back and assess ourselves and say, why am I upset with your success? Why am I upset with you because you don't do it the way I would have done it? And why don't I just stop that and just either congratulate, get on board, or just move on with my life?
Right. Well said. Well, our time is up. Thank y'all so much for joining us for another episode of Everyday Strong with Dr. Michael G. Daniels. This topic has been wonderful. I do believe this is going to get a lot of play. So is there anything else you'd like to mention before we close out?
No, I'm just grateful to be here and Even though I'm not sure when people are going to listen to this, but for those fathers, if you're listening close to Father's Day, let me say, I wish you, hope you had a marvelous Father's Day.
Yes, I know I did. Thank y'all so much for joining us. This is your host, CB Baker. Till next time.